How you all doing? How are you all doing this evening? First off, I want to say happy Veterans Day to all of our black brothers and sisters who've served and they've served to provide for their families and to create an avenue for a lot of um, a lot of black Americans, and now we can take advantage of a lot of people's sacrifices. We have to understand the black veterans really are the veterans of America. If we're going to be very honest, there would not have been a war won had it not been for black veterans. I want to start off with that. When we talk about not even before the Civil War, a lot of times we talk about the Civil War because we were such a vital part of winning the Civil War. We were the vital part of winning the Civil War. Even Abraham Lincoln said that the Union would have lost the Civil War if it wasn't for the freedmen soldiers. But it wasn't even that. We can go all the way back to the Revolutionary War. In the Revolutionary War, they wouldn't have won the Revolutionary War if it wasn't for black soldiers. And to be very honest, a lot of people might know this, but this is a very important aspect of history that people don't talk about, is that the first person to, let me use TikTok language, lose their life in the pursuit of fighting, I guess what would launch the official Revolutionary War, was a brother named Crispus Attucks. Okay? Crispus Attucks was the first person to lose his life in the pursuit of fighting against the British. So all of these things that we've done, our soldiers have been really the vanguard of America and the vanguard of protecting America's interest and all of that. And even today, to this day, we make up a disproportionate percentage of the military, considering according to the census, considering our population size in the country, and then considering the percentage we have in the military. We make up a very big amount of the military, and we've played a vital part, even despite being discriminated against, because during World War II, World War One and World War II, our soldiers have both fought in World War One and World War II. In World War II, when they were coming back, this was in the 1940s. It was around the 1940s ish, right? When it ended, I think it ended, if I'm not mistaken, in 1946. I might be mistaken though, but when they came back, you had a lot of the soldiers, the YT soldiers. They were able to get benefits from serving in the military. They were able to get GI bills. They were able to benefit from GI bills. They were able to get free education. They were able to get free houses. They were able to get different government benefits and all of this stuff to allow them to really pass their generational wealth down. They were able to do all of that stuff. Okay. Now, the black soldiers who also sacrificed and who also fought alongside and defeated the other side, I don't even want to say that, defeated the other side, wasn't able to get none of that. Did not benefit from the GI Bill, were discriminated against. They were discriminated against in uniform. You can see, what is that? What is that thing? Grapefruit. What is what is that thing for BX? What's the thing? The code word for the tree thing? What's that thing called again?
The code word for the tree thing?
Yeah, the tree. You know how the tree thing with the rope. What do we call that again?
Oh, strange fruit.
Strange
Strange fruit.
fruit. Strange fruit. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yeah.
there were black soldiers who had strange fruit. Thank you. Strange fruit. They were strange fruited in their uniform. That's how black soldiers were treated after World War II. And you had the YT soldiers. You had the YT soldiers. They were able to get generational wealth. Now, a lot of people would notice that really the middle class kind of existed or began really after World War II. Before that, it kind of wasn't like a middle class, so to speak. It was some people who were doing good, but a lot of people were poor. Besides that, there were people who were really good and really poor, and then a few people in between. It wasn't necessarily a class. The class really began after World War II. You understand what I'm saying? So they were able to really set that stuff up, and they were able to really connect and go to high universities and all of this good stuff. They were able to do that, while the black soldiers and their families, they didn't benefit from the GI Bills or really any of the military benefits or anything like that. And even still to this day, there's discrimination in the military. So I definitely want to take the time to, now I know we have a lot of criticism about the military, and there is criticism that is deserved in the military. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of criticism that's deserved for the military, for the American military, but I just want to separate the American military from the actual black soldiers in the military. You understand? Because I think even today, I saw one video, I got to look into it, where they were all like, you can't have waves. Like, they got haircut rules and, appearance rules. So you can't have waves anymore, which is black people, black men, naturally, well, black men and women, but black men really have it. Black women don't cut their hair like that often. Black men, if you brush your hair, you're going to have waves. If just consistently brushing it, you're going to have waves. That's the way your hair works. They have a thing where, like, no baby hairs, the thing where, black women, they take the edges of their hair and they swoop it, right? And create designs and stuff with it. Now it's a thing where they can't allow that. It's also a thing where shaving. Now, if you understand about black men and our facial hair, our facial hair is very coily, so it's a thing. I forget what it's called. It coils back into the skin, and it causes inflammation, and it causes bumps and stuff like that. So a lot of black men, who have curly hair, they don't shave for that reason, because they don't want to get a lot of razor bumps and stuff. Now, if you do shave, I would recommend you use clippers. Don't use a razor, because the razor it doesn't go well with black men's facial hair. Okay, I don't think black men should be using a razor, but they're doing certain things that, particularly, whether it's the baby hairs, the waves, the beard, the lashes, all of these things, they particularly discriminate against foundational black Americans. You understand what I'm saying? So we still get discrimination in 2025 in the military, even though we make up a bigger percentage of the military than our population size. All right. Yeah. Yeah. Somebody says it causes razor bumps and discoloration. Exactly. And it doesn't do that for other ethnic groups of people. So we still got discrimination we got to fight against in the military. But I appreciate, and I want to take this time to give the flowers to the soldiers who deserve it. All right. It's kind of long-winded with that, but I think it was well needed. It was well needed. All right. So thank you all for being here. We haven't even gotten started on the subject, but we got a lot of people already in here. Now, what I want to talk about is the government shutdown. Now, this has been the longest government shutdown of American history. America has not had a shutdown this long. We've had shutdowns before, but it's not been this long. And the shutdown was because of a spending bill that the Democrats and the Republicans could not get along on. The Democrats did not want the cuts, and they wanted more subsidies for the Affordable Care Act, aka Obamacare. The Republicans do not like Obamacare, wanted it to be cut. So the Democrats did not let the bill pass, and they said, hey, we're going to shut this down until we have a compromise on the Affordable Care Act. And they were steady on that. They said without the Affordable Care Act, premiums would go up and people wouldn't be able to afford health care, right? That's what they say. Now, here's the thing. There's two things. I will give Democrats the fact that on health care, they argue the issue on health care, at least whatever flaw you have with Obamacare, the Democrats will argue health care and affordability of health care. That is something that you do not really see the GOP arguing ever at all. The only time they mention health care is to say we need to make cuts to health care. That's literally the only time. You really see that. Okay, for the most part, they always talk about they need cuts to healthcare and healthcare needs to be cut, but they don't have a suitable replacement for healthcare. They don't. Even Trump said that when he had his debate with Harris last year, and the debater said, "Okay, well, what are you going to do without Obamacare? You want to replace that with what?" He said, I don't really know. I don't know right now, to be honest. I got part of a plan." And the Republicans have not given a plan on what they're going to do with healthcare. So I will say that. Okay, fine. I'll give them that. I'll give them the W on that. A lot of people also criticize the Democrats because the Democrats allow illegal immigrants to partake in healthcare, which skyrockets the bill when it comes to healthcare nationally, statewide and nationally. So the Democrats also got to hold that L. I'll give them the W, but they also got to hold that L too. Because if you're going to do the thing with healthcare, and healthcare is already very expensive, and you're allowing immigrants who are not citizens to get healthcare really and giving them preferential treatment when it comes to healthcare, you're making healthcare less affordable for actual citizens to get healthcare. So they lose the plot on that. All right. But giving you the rundown of the government shutdown, they said we're not going to open up the government until the Republicans concede to the healthcare. Okay. And they were going at it so much. You had federal workers who weren't getting paid, the threats of SNAP not being done, nobody getting their SNAP benefits. You had airports shutting down. It was a lot of mess. I'm talking about it was a mess for a long time. It was like, what, 6 weeks of a government shutdown. So these Democrats right here, I got them all on the thing. They all folded, and they gave the votes to reopen the government, enough votes to reopen the government, so the Republicans can, pass the bill with the agreement that they're going to negotiate the bill later. Okay. And a lot of people are upset with this because a lot of people are like, yeah, the Democrats are fighting back and they're fighting back and they're fighting back. Now, my question, as you can see, it's a question. Did the Democrats, which I believe, but I want to ask you guys, did the Democrats finesse? And did they use the government shutdown because they know the people are going to be mad at the GOP, the Republicans, and they extended the government shutdown until after election season? Now think about this. Think about this. We just got done with an election season, and the Democrats won all the seats they were running for. Okay, with Ma'am Donnie and another one in, I think, Virginia, and another one, I think it was in South Carolina or North Carolina. And then the Democrats waited. I'm just asking. I want to know you guys' opinion. And the Democrats waited until after the elections to say, okay, well, we're going to reopen the government. So were the Democrats using the government shutdown to make people mad at Republicans in order to assure that they were going to be victorious during the election season? A lot of people are suspecting that the Democrats finessed the government shutdown, that they were always going to fold on the healthcare thing, and they were just extending that until they got the win during this last election season with the mayor's office and all of that stuff. It seems very coincidental that right after the election, they said, okay, fine, we'll reopen the government. Okay. You also got to think it's around the holiday seasons. Airports are closing down. There's flights being missed. I want you guys to understand corporations make a big chunk, a large chunk, almost majority of their business is made during the holiday seasons. Okay. They do not want people missing their flights. I want you to understand how much money, how much millions and really billions, if you add it all up, is made just in the month of this November and December off of flights alone, just flights alone. Think about that. Just flights. Imagine how much money American Airline and Unite, all of these things, Southwest, all of these flights would be losing if people are not flying for the holidays. Think about that. Think about how much money the hotels, think about how much millions and millions of dollars up to maybe about, I don't even know, about $1 billion. Okay. How much money do hotels and resorts make? And Airbnb, how much money do they make over the holiday season? They want people to be traveling. This is around the season where people start traveling. Okay, where people plan big events and all of that stuff. All right. So,
Afro.
huh?
Um, so you might have some possible trolls on the panel. Are you willing to hear them out tonight?
Yeah,
Because I
I'm
just got
willing
a
to.
message
Yo,
saying
yo,
drop
yo,
them.
BX, you
Hold
say
on.
that
How
every
do you know
time.
it's you? How do you
Hold
know
on.
it's you? How do you
Hold
know
on,
it's
hold
you?
on.
Veteran
There's
I'm gonna
one,
open it. I'm
two,
gonna
three
open it.
other
I'm gonna
trolls
open
on
it.
the panel.
I just want
Because
people
you
to understand. Hold
that
on. Hey,
No,
don't do that,
mute
because if you do
up.
that
He
again, I'm
said
gonna
you
kick
could
you off and you
stay.
won't be able to
He
speak.
said the
We're
trolls
not
could
doing that
stay.
tonight. We're not doing that tonight.
Thank you.
Don't do that. Now here's the thing, y'all. Look, y'all saying I'm doing that to MAGA. I'm not MAGA at all. It's the Democrats who agree with MAGA. They're the ones who folded. They're the ones who's conceding to MAGA. If y'all not mad at me. Y'all should be mad at your party. Let's be honest. Because your party folded for corporate interests. Because they looked at their donors and their donors said, hey, this government shutdown better end by the week. Okay? We're going on to the middle of November. This government shutdown needs to end in the next couple days. Y'all better make it happen. And they made it happen. And I think personally, they waited for the government shut. They waited till the end of the elections so they can get their seats. And then they said, okay, we're going to reopen the government. That's my opinion. And I want to know what you guys have to think about that.
I think that the troll is actually a Karen, right? He picks on me and he goes host these lives that 7 people show up to. Then he sends other American Indians to come bother me because I don't believe in Pan African American Indianism. And then
Oh,
he comes in the chat talking about BX doesn't like veterans, but a lot of my family are veterans. Try again, sir. I'm from the soil. You're not, so you're not
okay,
getting to
okay.
appropriate or vote
Hey, yo,
for
Okay,
hold
what
on,
your
we're not gonna
veterans
president.
day.
do,
Salute to all
if you're coming
veterans.
up here, we're having a conversation about something totally different. So if you're coming up here on
Right.
that type of time,
Yo, I
okay,
want to talk on the prompt. I'm a
okay,
veteran.
all
Respect
right,
me,
all right. I'm
please.
just saying,
Let's
I'm
No,
just
please.
no,
saying,
no, don't get too
I'm just
used
saying.
that.
Now,
Tea time is
BX, can you
here.
set
Yes,
the?
Hold on. Yeah, I gotta set the decorum for the room. I want to say shout
Spicy,
out
yo,
to
you and Spicy got a
Foundational
problem,
Black.
Dr. No Job. That has nothing.
Okay, no, we're not talking about that. If you want to stay and talk on the prompt, I'm gonna allow you to do that. If you come off the mic one more time, you're gonna be moved. All right. BX is gonna set the decorum of the room, and then we're gonna get to the speakers. Okay.
So I want to wish my foundational Black Americans and those of the lineage a happy Veterans Day.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say to those who fought in the Civil War, I love and appreciate you. I actually have ancestors who are honored there too. Let me just go ahead and set the decorum. I want to say this though, Afro, about the shutdowns. They
Mm-hmm.
do this every time. It's like they're playing chess with each other, right? And we're the
Mm-hmm.
ones who get, either the prize or we catch the loss, right? Um, I'm not against certain people getting food stamps, even though I don't get them. So, but children have to eat. So the Democrats, well, they had to fold, right, in order to get the food stamps paid out.
Well, not they didn't necessarily, because there was a Supreme Court that was making the argument, because Trump could have signed, I think, an executive order to give subsidies for the food stamps. So there was a way to get food stamps without voting for the GOP. Possibly, people are making that argument that food stamps, at least partially, could have been distributed without reopening the government, partially. But
Okay.
it would have been limits on that.
All right.
So a
Well,
lot of
thank
people,
goodness
like you
that
said,
the
a lot of people
subsidies
were
are
saying
out.
like, hey man, it's cold, it's the winter time, it's the holiday season, people need their food. So, you know, but you got
Yeah.
it.
Oh, so they got half. Robin
Yeah,
says they
everybody
got
would have
half.
got
Okay.
half of it. Partial, yeah.
Okay. All right. So good. Thank you for clearing that up. I'm glad that people who were at risk of losing their benefits have gotten something restored for them. And happy Veterans Day.
Okay, let me sliding penguin. Now, I want you to understand. I'm gonna let you speak. We can agree to disagree, whatever it is, but we are going to stay on the subject. You said you wanted to discuss the subject, so there you go.
Thank you. What's good, my brother?
How you doing?
First of all, I'm gonna say salute to all veterans. Army battle tanker here. Lost 3 tanks and all that. Put in the work. And today was a good day
Well,
that
thank
I
you for your
wasn't called.
off.
Yeah, today was a good day that I wasn't called to tether. I got to see my veterans. I got to see my people. I even ate next to a special forces dude that said he was in Vietnam. He had to wear the same clothes for 57 days. And yeah, salute to that. So I'm gonna give my greeting. Tagwe, Ida Bukai, hello, how are you? And all that stuff in Arawak. I'm American Indian, my race, whatever, people, whatever, West Indies, whatever, American Indian, whatever, blah, blah, indigenous. So I want to talk about this topic. This is very big. I actually like what the host said. I think it was an overwhelming amount of pressure, being that we have a Republican controlled Senate, presidency, Congress, courts, and all that stuff, Supreme Court. And what the host made a very big point was, it's getting cold, and they just sent 40 billion to Argentina. I'm not sure a lot of people who voted for this would say, hey, I voted for the USS Gerald to be outside of Venezuela to mess with their oil, because they could have been joining BRICS. You know what I'm saying? I don't think they would have voted for that. I thought they voted to get out wars and everything. I didn't think they voted to send $40 billion to Argentina. You know, the Germans did that. History repeats itself. My mother's from Grenada. Schermerhorn is the indigenous word for Grenada. Schermerhorn, right? And this is where Malcolm X's mother's born. Some very smart people comes from those lines, right? And I'm just telling you, it takes 3 years to build a bunker. It takes 3 years. The Germans did the same thing in World War II. They went to Argentina the same way. So there's war crimes being done against Colombia, Venezuela, and all that. Sometimes they might say, well, we have this, we have cartels. Okay. Hey, Mexico has a lot of fentanyl coming out. Why aren't you attacking Mexico? Hey, the products come from China. Why can't you attack them in the Chinese Sea? Oh, China has the biggest navy. Oh, China has drones that could separate into 5 pieces and swarm you. Okay, so let's attack something else. So like I said, it takes 3 years to build a bunker. The Germans actually did the same thing in Argentina. You need a place to hide when the war crimes start. The Arizona lady gets sworn in within a week. She's the last vote to release the Epstein's files. So you're gonna see some things right now. So Democrats finesse the government shutdown for votes. I'll say it leans more towards Republicans. You know, I'm a Democrat, but I'm gonna say that Democrats had some part to play with it. I like what you said, host. I love geopolitics. I love these politics thing, the whole Indian, FBA, African thing. But you see politics, man, I felt like I'm eating food off of this. Like this is me. You know, like somebody getting bigger. Like remember, what's it, Solomon Grundy, one of them old school thing. Brother just got big.
About 10 seconds, and then we're gonna.
Okay. Yeah. So I want to say I like what you said, because it's getting cold. It's billions of dollars that's going to be lost during November, and then into Black Friday, and then into Christmas, and then into this New Year's, and then travels, and then government worker furloughs, and different things. And who's the biggest group that would have been suffering without snapping EBT? And we know who they are. And guess what? Who has the most infrastructure? Who has the backhoes? Who has the farm equipments like they've seen in Maine to drive to the state capitol and really shut it down? You see, when we protest, we just make a little noise. When they protest, it's a revolution. You are 3 missed meals away from a revolution. And that's what I'm going to say.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. All right. Okay. Thank you. ZZ, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I know you're not a veteran, neither am I, but happy Veterans Day.
Oh, yes. Happy Veterans Day. Shout out to the Foundation of Black Americans that fought in all of the wars, all the American wars. Shout out to our ancestors that shed blood for this country. Absolutely.
You heard what I said about the prompt, right?
I didn't. That's why I was like, I low key wish. Bro just threw me off. I don't know where the fuck he
He
was
threw me
going.
off too. No offense, brother, but I'm not gonna lie to you. I was waiting for you to kind of circle back, but then we kind of veered off into like a geopolitics thing, and then
Yeah.
it kind of went everywhere, you know. But I think you did circle it back to the thing, but it took a minute.
He went around the way before he
Nah,
got
nah.
back.
All I was saying was this: we sent 40 billion to Venezuela, but it was 6 billion needed for SNAP and EBT.
Yeah,
That's all.
I mean,
And
I get it,
that's
but
what I was saying. Yeah.
I get it, but a lot of people. I mean, okay, but thank you. We ain't even trying to. I ain't trying to start with you. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Afro. I'm sorry. Just give me a rundown of what you're talking
Okay,
about. I
yeah,
see the
okay.
Democrat. Yeah, my
So
bad.
what I'm saying is, we've been talking about the government shutdown for, it's been what, 40 some days, almost 2 months, right?
Yeah.
The government shutdown, and the Democrats have used, and most of the people said that the government shutdown is because the Republicans don't care about health care, and they want to cut Medicaid and Medicare and all that. And then I said that it seemed as if the Democrats folded on the government shutdown until right after these last elections, so they can make sure that they would get the elections or get the seats that they needed, like with Mandani and all of these people, because they know that the citizens are mad at the Republicans for the shutdown. And then the second after the election was over, they said, okay, let's reopen the government again. So they were never going to really stand on the principle of shutting the government down. They were kind of leveraging the people's anger so they can get their votes.
Ooh. Yeah, that sounds like the exact. I didn't even think about it like that, but that sounds like the exact diabolical play that the Democrats will play. They love to throw rocks and hide their hands. So absolutely, that sounds on par for the Democrats for sure. Mandami winning, all these Democrats, these immigrants specifically, and non-blacks that are clearly clearly have anti-black vitriol or clearly have agendas that go against foundational Black Americans. Absolutely is no coincidence. What they do is no coincidence. So yeah, I think that's pretty on par for the Democrats for sure. That sounds about right.
Okay. Yeah. So that's the play that we assume that they've made with it. Because I mean, that's line up. All of what they did lines up with it. So all right.
So I wanted to, Afro, can I continue to drop the links to help New York disaggregate from
Of
the
course, of
Caribbean
course,
and the African?
of
Thank
course.
you.
Go ahead,
And also
especially
there's
with
one
Mandani in there. Y'all need all
man
the
dummy. I
y'all
call
need all the help
man
y'all can get.
dummy. But let me tell you what a side effect of man. It's two side effects of man dummy statement, right? There's a
Hold on,
white
real quick. Somebody
historian.
said, "Are y'all Republican?" No, we're black,
No,
and
we black
that's the
folks.
team we rock for. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
you
Right.
must be a Democrat. You must rock with that team. Which you should be just as.
Uh,
I think a black Democrat should be just as ashamed of themselves as a black Republican.
Absolutely.
I absolutely. But go ahead, BX. Sorry for interrupting. Go ahead.
So Ma'am Dummy's statement had two reactions. A white tea foreigner in Ohio said that they built Ohio. So on Friday, and y'all are welcome to attend ZZ and Afrobeat because my page is private. I don't allow certain people on my page. We'll be hosting a panel and we're going to speak about who built this city. Well, who built America. Ohio will be featured there, and we have an Ohioan FBA coming to tell the history of her family and how they were instrumental in the building of Ohio. In New York now, I seen Marshall Foundational sent me a video about the Afro Dutch in New York and New Jersey, and they really are speaking about my people because I have my northern roots and I have my southern roots, so it's kind of combating the erasure. So him saying that is having people resurgent. We're adding on to this Black American Renaissance, and we're focusing on the Northern who were enslaved. So, Ma'am Dummy really offended people, and we're just going to correct that narrative. So, we'll speak about the enslaved of New York. We'll speak about those in Ohio, foundational Black Americans, and how we built this country, and the immigrants migrated here into an already built infrastructure. To my FBA and to those who want to help FBA disaggregate, like Minna did, like Callie did, and getting the SB 515, where we'll stand as Black Americans, the Caribbean on their own, and the Sub-Saharan Africans on their own. I will be dropping links Please press down on my comment so that it copies to your clipboard. And when you leave here, you can quickly paste it into your web browser. And it's going to take maybe roughly, I'm going to say 2 minutes. It's a pre-filled template. You sign it, you hit send, and you're going to send like 20 to 20 legislators, right? It's all automatic. Okay, just sign your name and hit send. And I appreciate you. Thank you.
All right, all right.
I did sign it, BX.
Y'all make sure y'all do that. It's very, very
Thank
important.
you.
Don't forget.
I'll pass on that. The
Hold on,
people of
hold on,
Malcolm
hold
X
on,
mother.
hold on. Sliding. I'm gonna let you go ahead, but we got other people who've been waiting and they need to speak. But I'm gonna let you speak. We're gonna have a conversation, but we gotta be fair to everybody else. So let's get
Oh
to.
wait, my bad. Before you go to the first speaker, let me just add on to and say, also not a coincidence that they're doing their runs. They've been doing their runs. Kamala, they even brought Obama back out to try to basically gloat about how bad the Republicans are running the country. So I don't think that's also in alignment with all of this happening as well. That's not a coincidence. Kamala coming out with that book trying to put all the blame on Biden and trying to give the Democrats a new look or trying to give them grace. That's also not a coincidence. All of that is interconnected for sure. Not a coincidence.
I gotta say this. Penguin just said the family of Malcolm X mother and XYZ, he can't go for that. My comment was never directed to you, Sliding Penguin. And this is what I mean by a tether. Malcolm X's mother was a Garveyite who married a foundational black American and
Okay.
had foundational black American children. You think she wouldn't sign the petition? Shut up over there.
All right.
His opinion is null and void when it comes to what we're doing for our people.
All right.
He's an immigrant.
All right. Yes. And yeah. We're gonna move on. We're gonna get to my brother Trey. Trey Mills, you got it. Slide and
Can you hear me?
don't be a troll, man, because we trying to give you grace, but don't be a troll, dude. Because come on now, Trey, you got it.
I'm born in New York City.
Trey, you got it.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, shout out to the panel, man. Shout out to the host, Afro, ZZ, and BX. Appreciate y'all, man. So, to answer
Appreciate you.
yes, I think the Democrats, man, they are the biggest exploiters to our community. They got people out here talking about, hey, I'm black, man, give me some votes. You know what I'm saying? I watched some collard greens in the tub. You know what I'm saying? Give me some votes. Like, at least the Republicans. I'm not a Republican. All right, don't get it twisted, but at least they straight up, you know what I'm saying, about their views and what they trying to do. Democrats, they just gonna lie. You know what I'm saying? They put people out there trying to make it seem like they black and oh my God, it's just all over the place, man. So I mean, and then just look at the measures they've been able to that they're taking, right? People getting laid off, getting furloughed and all types of stuff, over what they're doing, trying to stop some stuff that the Republicans are doing, right? So my thing is like the black community, we're their biggest base, and I've never seen them do nothing to the anything close to what they're doing, for immigrants and for everybody else. You know what I'm saying? So that should wake black people up, man. Stop voting for these folks, man. They just playing games in your face. All right. Oh, and before I leave, Haitians ain't got no culture. Africans ain't got no culture. Crash out if you want to.
Bam. There we go.
All right. And okie doke. Keeping on subject, we're going to get. I guess we'll get to. I don't know how to pronounce your name. I'm gonna say Queen because that's the last.
Crochet,
Crochet.
crochet queen.
Crochet.
Yeah,
Okay.
crochet queen.
All right. Crochet.
So I just wanted to tap in here to kind of give like an actual perspective of somebody who is truly directly affected by the government shutdown, who actually does have the $0.00 pay stubs for the hours that she has worked. So the thing about the government shutdown is that I just want to like make some things like really clear because what I'm realizing is that a lot of people really have zero clue about like what's going on. So some people tried to say that the government shutdown was something that either the Republicans or the Democrats were responsible for. Neither party was responsible for the government shutdown. The government, there was a funding lapse. So every year there's a fiscal year budget. That budget lapsed on September 30th. So nobody was responsible for that. That's just regular policy procedure protocol. The funding lapsed. The Democrats refused to put forth the votes for a continuing resolution, which is pretty much business as usual. This happens. There are times that fiscal years will go by and there is no budget at all. It's just nothing but continuing resolutions. These things are normally transparent to the everyday public because this is just not something that affects y'all. Y'all can go on about your lives and it's not a big deal. But for those of us that are like federal employees, military personnel, whatever, we kind of keep a little bit more of an eye on it because depending on how long these shutdowns last, or whether it's a full government shutdown or a partial government shutdown, depends on who's exempt, who's accepted, who's furloughed, all these different terms that none of y'all need to really be concerned about. The only reason why this was of concern this time is because this was an actual full government shutdown, which means that there was no funding across all of the agencies that normally would have some type of funding. So that's why y'all knew. So the government shutdown that happened in 2018, 2019 was a partial government shutdown. Only some particular departments and agencies were not funded. That's why, again, some things were transparent to y'all. In that particular shutdown, I was exempt, meaning I was paid. However, there were some people who weren't. So that's one thing that happened, right? Now, the reason why I'm explaining like the government shutdown and what that means is because this is where the distraction comes in. I'm breaking all of this down for a reason. The government shutdown, that is something totally separate. The continuing resolution, passing a budget, all of these things are separate standard business. The whole healthcare thing has nothing to do with the government shutdown. It never did from day one. So the whole goal was to get people stirred up about something that had nothing to do with the actual budget. It had nothing to do with funding the government. So when the Republicans were saying like the Democrats refuse to vote, this is absolutely true. How do we know? Because it took for 7 Democrats to break ranks for the Senate to get the 60 votes that they needed. It wasn't the opposite way around. It wasn't that the Republicans needed to vote for this to happen. It was the Democrats. They were the ones who had to break the ranks. And this was because of the whole healthcare thing. The whole healthcare thing, yet again, we have seen over the last 3 Barack Obama terms that nothing has ever really been about the American people, right? From whether it's pronoun politics, whether it is non-citizen politics, whatever it is, the Democrats have shown that they are not for the American people in that way. So why would anybody think that healthcare is any different? Those subsidies, right? And I explain it to people like this. If the Affordable Health Care Act was really affordable, then people wouldn't need subsidies. Look at those subsidies as a coupon. If you went into a store and the food on the shelf was extremely high and somebody handed you a coupon book and said, hey, use this coupon to buy the food on the shelf, it doesn't mean that the food is any cheaper. It just means that you get to pay it at a cheaper price, but there's a manufacturer rebate where there's a kickback to the manufacturer. That's the same thing that's happening with the Affordable Care Act. These healthcare companies are getting automatic kickbacks, which is off of the taxpayer dollar. And so that was the whole conversation. That was the discussion. That was what the whole thing was about. That's what the subsidies is about. The subsidies is about the fact that we as taxpayers are giving these healthcare companies free money. Free money. And the healthcare is still skyrocketing, is still sky high. Now, fast forward, we get to November and people are now like, oh, but what about my food stamps? People didn't care about food stamps on October 1st when federal employees weren't getting paid. Nobody cared. But as soon as somebody said you're not getting food stamps, that's when everybody cared. Now, again, as I said, because this was a full government shutdown, the Department of Agriculture, USDA, which falls under Department of Agriculture, they had no money. They had no funding. So while they did have some emergency funds, the emergency funds were not enough to fund both SNAP and WIC. So the Trump administration said, okay, we will fund partial SNAP. Why? Because then they could partially fund WIC. But again, the media is not saying the whole thing. They're not saying all of that. So when the courts went up there and told the Trump administration, y'all have enough money to pay full SNAP benefits for November, the Trump administration said, wait, can we get an appeal on that? Because they wanted to pay partial for SNAP, partial for WIC. And so all of these things that are happening behind the scenes. So yes, do I believe that there was also a finesse? I want to address what Sliding said about down there in Virginia, Winsome Sears losing to Spamberger because the government shut down. No, Winsome Sears lost, and this is how I know: one, you're a tether; two, you are not from the region, and whatever the case may be. Virginia is always going to be Virginia. A lot of people look at the, I'll say, the DMV region of Maryland and Virginia, which is pretty much your military capital. People look at that and think that that is representative of the state of Maryland and the state of Virginia. No, it is not representative. Winsome Sears lost because Virginia is still Virginia. I guarantee you, if Virginia would have ran a white man as a YT man as a Republican, it's highly probable that it's highly probable the Republicans would have had a better chance of them taking that seat over Spamberger, because I do not believe Spamberger was doing any better than Winsome. However, Virginia is Virginia, and Virginia, I do not believe, has progressed in parts of Blacksburg, Charlottesville, Chesapeake, and all of these other places outside of Northern Virginia where they're going to vote for some Jamaican woman, or let alone, see my air quotes, black. So I say all of that to say, no, we're not going to put Winsome Sears solely losing on the fact that the government was shut down. We're also going to look at Virginia and the state that it is. And I do not see Virginia as a state that has completely progressed to just letting a black woman, BLK woman, be their governor. Not just yet. So with that, hopefully I kind of, that was a long way of explaining the government shutdown and the nuances of some things. So hopefully that was helpful, just for anybody who may not know about that.
It was, and I want to thank you for that, because you really did break that down, from start to finish. Especially for somebody who is experiencing that, like who's actually a federal employee. I'm not going to ask any more information, your personal information, but you did explain that from your perspective and the perspective of somebody who actually wasn't getting paid. And that's something that a lot of people weren't too concerned about before. So thank you for that. I also want to add this about, I keep forgetting her name, Winsome Sears, right? Or was it Spamberger? Who was the Jamaican woman? Spamberger?
Winston Sears. Yeah, Winston Sears, a Jamaican Republican, FBA.
Sears.
A Jamaican
Do you
FBA.
guys notice? If you guys, okay,
FBA.
guys, okay, I said Sears, man, damn. I say, what's the name? Everybody get off the mic. Okay, Sears.
But didn't she say she was Jamaican? Right?
Yeah, she's Jamaican.
Slide
Now,
something else.
I want to add this though. Notice that the Republican Party didn't really put too much behind Sears. If you think about that, Donald Trump didn't endorse Sears. The Republicans didn't really back Sears like that. Nobody really wanted Sears. And then Sears, if you notice, one of the things, Sears, I think she was against, she said something about black people need to let go of slavery and we need to move on past that. And then she was saying that for a minute. And then she started to kind of pander, like as a black woman, she switched up and started to pander a little bit. So she already didn't have the black vote off rip. And she was trying to get the non-black vote, but she never really had the non-black vote either. And then she tried to kind of pander a little bit, but that didn't save her. So whether the government was shut down or not, to your point, I don't think she would have won anyway.
Hey, host, I got a serious question to ask you.
Hold on. Let's look at the other speakers though. Yeah. Let me see. The next person, I guess, was Handsome Squidward. Handsome Squidward. Okay, I guess Handsome Squidward's not here. We'll get to the black receipt.
What's going on, Africa?
What's going on?
Yes.
Yeah, I do feel like the Democratic Party tried to finesse, but it was also kind of like a test of seeing where they party line because the the establishment didn't like Bandani, and since they seen that they lost against him, they seen that they was losing against the next generation. So they're somewhat of in a rebranding and trying to figure out their new identity and how they can attach on to Black Americans in a different type of way where it's not sniffed out as quick as we've been doing lately. But I don't think that's going to be a good idea. It's really over with for them. And when it comes down to the Republicans, even though they're having their own personal civil WAR, they're they're still trying to figure out their own identity and how they're going to get their people to either support Israel or not support Israel. So this is the best time for Black Americans to focus on themselves and community build and just be more aware politically, but at least try to put your own type of people within local or, you know what I'm saying, state governments because the main focus is going to be the midterms and both parties are somewhat up for grabs.
Oh yeah.
And I truly feel like since we already have people that lean conservative and lean towards the left, we could just have people going into those parties and actually just being on code and bringing us together so we can have better representation instead of having each other's represent us. Because that's the only thing that we're actually just missing and falling short of is having real representation that's on code and not, you know what I'm saying, falling kowtow to the Republicans or the Democrats and setting us up for failure in the future. But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, the Democrats was just using this as a tool to measure where they at as a party. And right now, they know that they have to give up the old guard and so what have some indoctrinated youth that are more party establishment, kind of like the Republicans are grooming right now. They just trying to weed out their extremists so it'll be more palatable to the public and okay for people to actually get on hold with what Republicans are pushing. But hope everybody having a great Veterans Day. FBA, you know what I'm saying, stay on code and be aware and be alive.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, brother. I will say, man, this new election, or this not new election, but this midterms, there's gonna be one. That's gonna be one for the books. I'm gonna be honest with you, because both of the parties are really falling off a cliff right now. Both of the parties are not looking good. Okay, the Democrat Party, they seem to be so stubborn and hardheaded. They refuse to learn from their lesson. They don't want to go back to their actual base, which are the black voters. They don't want to do anything for the black voters. They're trying to find every which way to get the votes they need without going to the black vote, and that's never going to work. And the Republicans are busy backstabbing each other. So it seems like they both falling down off a cliff right now. But hey, it is what it is. You know, we just got to work together, and we got to make sure that uh, we look out for each other.
Shoot, the
Let's get,
Democrats just backstabbing each other too.
yeah, yeah. I
They
mean,
both
I'm
had
talking about
infighting.
this ain't even been a whole year.
Yeah.
It ain't even been a whole year since Trump took office, and we've got so much stuff going on. Boy, these
Um,
midterms gonna be something else. Hold on, brother. Hold on.
yes, sir.
Let's
Can
get
I
to
say something right quick, Afro?
go ahead.
I just want to say this. It's some things behind the scenes. Some of these Republicans. So there are people during this shutdown I've been paying attention to, like Marjorie Taylor Greene. There are some of these Republicans that are saying, hey, and I think that this is where the Republicans might bounce back. There are Republicans that are saying, hey, we understand that healthcare is an issue. We see that it's a problem. We don't agree with extending the subsidies. We don't agree with continuously giving people coupons because that means the healthcare is not affordable. Let's come up with a plan for actual affordable healthcare. So what I'm saying is I think that possibly the Republicans can possibly swing this back in their favor if they play it right. Marjorie Taylor, and I'm not for either party, but I'm just watching certain things with like Marjorie Taylor Greene, Rand Paul, certain people where I may not have understood their logic and how they voted or where they stood on certain topics. But as I've been paying attention in this shutdown to some of these other politicians, the Republicans might be able to swing this back in their favor because the Democrats are still remaining, as you said, stubborn and unhinged and unwell. So I'm gonna just leave it there for now.
It's a possibility. It's a possibility.
Hey, that's why Trump made that marketplace for you to go online and get, you know what I'm saying, medicines from different sellers at different prices. And it's outside of what insurance companies do.
Mm, all right. Yeah. Like I said, it's interesting. We got to pay attention to it. Let's get to HR.
Yeah. Hey guys. Yeah. So somebody might have already said this before, so I apologize if I'm repeating it. But yeah, it looks like a finesse. And the reason I say that is that I was looking at CNN and some other political analysts. They were talking about this, and they noted that essentially the vote from the folks that you got up on the panel right there, that's on the graphic,
Hmm.
all of that came after the elections. So, and I'm probably not explaining this very well, but I'll just say that it seems like those folks were waiting for the voting to be over for these important elections, the last round of elections from last week or earlier this week. They got their victories, and then they were kind of using the shutdown as leverage in order to, essentially kind of play the Republicans against the population, and then the whole SNAP crisis and everything else. So when all of that coalesced together, essentially the whole point was, look, let's wait and see what happens, and whether we win or not, we're just going to kind of hold on to this, and then when votes come in, then we'll just go ahead and capitulate, and then just go ahead and give the Republicans what they want in order to open up the government. So it does kind of look like a finesse in the long run, and that's how other people are explaining it. And I might not have explained it very well, but that's kind of how I'm taking it in from all these analysts. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
do.
Yeah.
that's what I was saying from the beginning. Yeah, you know,
Yeah.
um,
No.
because let's be honest, they the thing is that with the healthcare thing, they don't really want to solve like our sister was saying. They're not really there to solve the healthcare problem. Now, they will admit that we do have a healthcare problem, which is something that the Republicans have been very reluctant to admit that we have a healthcare problem. Now, Marjorie Taylor Greene is saying that. So if the Republicans kind of want to change their stance on that, then that might be something. Okay? Because as far as the American people are concerned, the Republicans, and I was looking at like a poll on whether people agree with this or that. The Republicans kind of, they don't agree with the Republican stances on the healthcare problem. All right. So if the Republicans do change their stance on the healthcare, or at least change their messaging on healthcare, that might be something. But the general public, with the government shutdown, they blame the Republicans for the shutdown, and they leverage that, and they use the anger, like you were saying, they use the anger of the citizens so they can assure their victory in the last election.
Yeah,
Okay,
something like that.
even though they were all like, "Yeah, we're going to reopen this. We're not going to keep the shutdown." No, they were not going to stand firm until the Republicans conceded. They were never going to do that.
Yeah, yeah. Now I will say this: so people are already complaining that their what do you call it? What do you call it? The deductions are already going up. Like they've already got notices. So
That's
that's already
true.
been happening. Some
That's
people are
true.
saying it went from like a few $100s to like over like 2,000.
Yeah.
So from 1,500 to 1,000 for. So they're already getting notices for that, and that's in effect like right away. So that's another thing that's happening. And then I'll say these last two things.
Hmm.
So this now for this ongoing shutdown. There's a couple of things that have happened that are essentially first, and maybe Kushite could probably confirm this, but so the military has not. They've been shut down before. The military always got paid. As I understand it, this is the first time the military has not gotten paid, right? And the other thing too is, shoot, I have one more other thing, but I'll get to it in a second. As soon, but can you confirm that? Is that This is the first time during a shutdown that the military has not ever been paid.
So yeah, normally during the shutdown, so I under George Bush we never had these issues. This only started once Barack Obama got into office, and this is the shutdown that is related to Obamacare. So the very first shutdown that I was ever in was because of Obamacare, and this is the second one because of Obamacare. So that is very unpopular. Most of the other shutdowns, there have been times the Department of Defense has been affected by shutdown, but not that long. But normally there's appropriations for the Department of Defense, Department of War, so that it's normally exempt. This was the first time that, as I said, it was a full government shutdown. There was no appropriations for the Department of Defense, Department of War, or the Department of Homeland Security. So our nation actually was at risk of no funding to national security, both foreign and domestic.
Okay, and then the other thing too is people have lost jobs too. They're not coming back from the shutdown too. Trump's already confirmed that, right?
So the Senate wrote language into their bill, and I don't know why the Democrats are not counting this as a win. It was actually written into this most recent continual resolution that the people who were riffed during this shutdown, those would be reversed, and those people would not be riffed. They would not lose their jobs. So
Oh,
I
okay.
don't know why the Democrats are not even touting that as a win, or toting the fact that for the next year, full SNAP benefits will be funded for the entire year.
Okay.
So the
All right.
Democrats did get some wins. They're just complaining about the subsidies.
All right. Well, thanks for that. That's really all I had. Thanks for letting me up, Afro. Appreciate you.
Of course,
And
brother.
shout out to the young lady up there with the horticulture. She's always spitting out some good information. I appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Appreciate it. Speaking of horticulture, y'all need to follow the horticulture channel because that's where the playback of this is going to be. Y'all go to that profile, y'all click the follow, and then in the link in the bio, you can follow everything. All right. Sliding, I'm going to get to your question. I know you said you had one, but we're going to get to retro real quick. That way everybody's spoken. And then we're going to get to your question. Retro.
Hey, what's up, Afro? What's up, BX? How y'all doing? Um, I think this is why I believe the prompt. Yes, they did finesse the government for votes. This is horrible, and right now you even got a lot of them turning on each other right now within the Democratic Party. It's one of them. She won a seat, and she just came out and said, "Yeah, it was our party that the reason why this whole thing shut down." And she just won a seat, and it's gonna be a lot more of that coming out because this is really bad. This is a real bad look for them. And they said by the end of January the government is gonna get shut down again. And see the media was trying to make it seem like it was the Republicans that were doing this, and the whole time this was shutdown was caused by the Democrats. They did that. They held it up for votes. Which goes to show they're willing to let people starve just to get those seats, to get those spots. They don't care about helping. See, they're trying to get those same big donors as the Republicans and things like that. So they're doing a lot of things right now that is very, very shady right now. And it's going to really come back and bite them. I think right now that the world is seeing it because like this is not going away. This is not going to be something that they can just sweep under the rug. Because the fact that they even got people in their own party turning on each other, they're pointing the finger at Chuck Schumer, Hakeem Jeffries, and other folks. It's about to get wild for them, and they ain't got nobody to blame but themselves. So yeah.
Let's be honest. And I also want to add, let me add this as well too. The finesse. When people talk about Trump having billionaire friends, and he's making the taxpayer pay for his billionaire and millionaire friends, and Trump does have billionaire and millionaire friends. Don't get me wrong, he does, but the Democrats also do. And as a matter of fact, if you count apples to apples, they have more. The same. You don't think the same billionaires donate to the Democrat Party? You don't think billionaires donate to the Democrat Party? Millionaires donate to the Democrat Party, and they're not. They don't have to to follow their instructions and follow their lead, who do you think the working class donates to the Democrat Party? No, these are billionaires and millionaires who donate to all of them, and they will sit up here and it's the marketing. Follow me, y'all. It's the marketing because the Democrats have, at least for the longest time, not really now, but they have successfully marketed their party as the party of the working class people, the
Yeah.
party of the middleman, the party of the poor person. They've marketed themselves as that, as they've been taking the same donors that the Republicans get, and as a matter of fact, they get more of them. Okay, when they talk about tax breaks, you don't think the Democrats was giving out tax breaks? You don't think? Do you guys know? Oh, this is gonna blow a lot of people's mind. Do y'all know how Elon Musk is so rich? Y'all think Elon Musk is only rich because of Trump? Y'all think it was only under Trump Elon Musk was getting government subsidies?
Afro, remember when he was debating Hillary, and she was bringing up, "Oh, you're doing all these little tax things." He was like, "Well, your friends and your donors are doing the same thing. The people that you work with. So if you want to talk about me, your buddies are doing the same thing." He called Hillary out of that, and she couldn't even say anything.
Yeah.
And we gotta watch this new language they're starting to push from the Democrat side. They're talking about center left, moderate left, which they're really just extremists is on a low. You know, they're trying to change their plays now because they're losing a lot of ground right now. And I think what happened with New York when they voted that new mayor in there, I'm telling you right now, they just need to let what's happen because that dude is about to really crash and burn. It's about to be really bad out there, and people are gonna see it with this guy because he's not gonna do well. He's not. He's not at all. He is like I said. Right now, the Democrats are desperate, so they're just throwing anything at the see what sticks, and it's all gonna burn. Like I said, they're gonna turn on each other. They're turning on each other right now because it's about to get really bad for them. So yeah,
Yeah, I can. What's interesting is when we talk about Mamdani, right? Mamdani, he tries to go with these promises. The Republicans are going. And here's what I predict: if he tries to go with it, the Republicans are going to try to make Mamdani the face of the Democrat Party. And every bad decision he makes, the Republicans are going to say, "Well, you see the Democrats, you see socialism. If you don't want the entire American society to be like that, the Democrats are socialist. They're not even saying socialist. They're saying communist.
Yep.
They're going to say the Democrats are the party of communism, and you got to keep us in charge in order for the Democrats to not turn America into communism." So that's going to make the Democrats, they're going to have to throw Mamdani under the bus. And how I know is because Hakeem Jeffries is already lightweight doing that.
yeah.
Hakeem Jeffries is already saying, "Hey, Mamdani is not the face of the Democratic Party." So in order for the Democrats to save themselves from the Mamdani branding, they're going to throw Mamdani under the bus. They're going to say, "We don't agree with Mamdani. We don't want nothing to do with him," which is going to have Kathy Hochul, and she's not going to be able to sign off on anything Mamdani does. None of the Democrats are going to be able to back Mamdani, or else the Republicans are going to use that as leverage. They're going to say, "Do y'all want communism in America?" And the American people is not going for that. I don't care what y'all think about Mamdani's victory. The American people generally, I'm talking about nationwide, is not going for socialism, is not going for communism. They're going to say that's way too far.
He's gonna crash and burn so bad. And like I said, they got him in here because they were desperate, but they know that's why you said they're already starting this. They'll get ready to throw him on the bus because they know he's gonna crash and burn so bad. It's gonna be astronomical how bad he is because he's talking about introducing. See, one thing he said he's gonna tax the billionaires and the millionaires and the companies in New York, which is going to lead those billionaires and millionaires and those companies to leave New York. Well, that means jobs are going to leave New York City. And that means the everyday average hardworking person is going to be taxed higher because of that. They're going to move operations to another state because of what this man was saying out of his mouth. And they talk about Sharia law, whatever he's trying to do. He's going to crash and burn, and they're going to throw him under the bus bad. So he's going to be the fall guy. It's going to be real bad.
Yep.
But Retro, what do you mean they already? You said they already started throwing him under the bus. How was that?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Hakeem Jeffries, like Afro said, he started throwing little shots at his way. Some of them, like I said, right now because of what this government shut down to, you're going to see a lot of of Democrats turning on each other. It's already started. That woman that just won, her name is Scheinberg or something. I forgot her name. She already called out her party for the government shutdown already,
It's gonna
and
be. You're right. It's gonna be a lot of backstabbing.
yeah,
And what they're going to do is they're going to say, okay, these are the problematic people who are dragging the party down, which is why they're trying to section off the party by saying Democrat moderates or they're
center
trying to do
left.
that. They're sectioning the party off and saying we got to get y'all off the team in order for the team to survive, and they're going to do that to Mandani. This is why it took so long for the Democratic Party to endorse Mandani. They did not want Mandani to win. It wasn't until it's all like, damn, we got to at this point. They
Yeah,
waited last minute to endorse him because they do not want him to win. They do not want him to be the face. The issue is that Cuomo has such a notorious history in New York. It was unlikely that he was going to win. What was the best option is if Eric Adams stayed in the race. But Eric Adams already got so much dirt under his fingernails, he couldn't stay in the race. So
right.
with him dropping out, I was all like, oh, if it's between Mandani and Cuomo, Mandani's probably going to take the lead of that. And they waited so long and they begrudgingly endorsed Mandani. And even after they did, Hakeem Jeffries still came out and said, hey, do not think Mandani represents the Democratic Party. No, 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 no.
They
They
basically doing
already
Mandani like
they
how they did Kamala.
themselves from Mandani.
They basically doing like how they did Kamala at the last minute. They had no one. So that was all they had.
Yeah,
And his politics are horrible.
yeah. And the Republicans are
You
going to
want to know
use it.
something,
I
Afro?
think the Republicans are glad Mandani won because they're going to use
Yes.
that his entire term. They're going to be all
Oh
like,
yeah.
y'all see what the Democrats allowed to happen? Do y'all see? He's a communist. Do y'all understand how bad the Democrats? They're going to use that. Oh my God.
Kind of like what they did with Joe.
Yeah.
You know what? Afro. If, maybe another New Yorker could comment yes or no. So I voted early by mail ballot, right? And
Uh-huh.
Adams was on there. He just wasn't a Democrat. He was listed under safe working families or something like that.
Really? Okay.
And I'm like, did they send me the wrong ballot? Because everybody is talking about he's not supposed to be running for office and all of that. I think that he was just under a different party because the one I had sure said Eric Adams on there.
He probably
He's
is
a mail-in
because
ballot.
Probably, yeah,
he
because the Democratic Party pretty much ostracized Eric Adams.
yeah, yeah. So
They,
he's
Okay.
yeah, they threw Eric Adams under the bus.
yeah, real bad.
But
Yeah.
I want to get to the other speakers. I want to get it to the other speakers real quick because
You
Oh,
could
and
drop me
that
down. You could drop me down after ask somebody. That's all I wanted to say.
I appreciate you, bro.
Yeah.
that brother point too about both sides being having funding or having these big donors. Mayor Browser, she was. They saying that she's not being investigated, but it was rumors, it was speculation. I think New York Times came out and put that out there, put out some misinformation, which was probably on purpose, to be honest. But they were saying that she might have been investigated because she had a trip to Qatar. That was like I think it was like 60,000 that was funded from her friends over there in Qatar. So yeah, it's definitely on both sides. I don't know people were saying, "Oh, what about Trump's jet and all this other bullshit?" You're trying to compare it to the right, but the point is, like the brother said, both sides are funded. Okay, both sides got donors. Both sides look out for their people. So you know.
Yeah.
Can I just say this too, for the cautious point? So also the governor of Maryland, Westmore, I just call him Baldhead Watende every now and again. But
Mhm.
Westmore, I don't know if y'all saw in the news, it made news that he was out here on George Clooney's yacht. So
Oh,
just to go up there and put a pin drop in Westmore, George Clooney yacht. So yeah, the Democrats definitely do have big funding donors. It's just not the people that you think of. Yeah, Baltimore City is another person whose name I will not make a mention. But oh yeah, the Democrats have huge funding, and the state of Maryland, yeah, we not gerrymandered blue for no reason. Westmore is trying to gerrymander the entire state blue. We
Oh, for
only get
sure.
one red district, and he's trying to gerrymander that blue. So yeah, I think that this midterm is going to get really interesting, especially since the president said that his administration will be investigating certain people for funding certain groups. So
Oh yeah.
allegedly.
Oh
So
yeah.
just put a pin drop in all that.
There's gonna be one for the books. It's gonna be probably the most interesting midterms I think we've seen in a while, if ever.
Yeah.
Let's get to Lori, Lordy, and then we'll get to KO.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. No, I just wanted to add a comment to this Mom Donnie. First of all, I don't know if you guys spoke about it, but you guys do know that 95 Democrats voted for that Charlie Kirk date. Are you guys
Yeah.
aware of that?
Yeah, yeah. Well,
Okay.
I talked about that on YouTube. I don't think we've talked about that on
Up here.
TikTok though. But yeah, I
Okay. Yeah,
remember
I
that.
just want everybody to remember that because at the end of the day, whatever they do afterwards means nothing to me. What they did by voting for that man says everything, in my opinion.
Hmm.
For sure.
That's a good point. That's a good point. We make it seem like there's some huge moral difference between the two, and it's really not.
They on code.
That's a good point. Thank you for that. Let's get to KO.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, yeah, we got you.
Okay, cool. This is what I want to say. It's a lot deeper than what we are talking about right now. Um, you gotta look up Peter Thiel, right? Peter Thiel, Thiel. Look up Peter Thiel and look up Palantir. It's a lot deeper than what we're speaking of right now. But the thing is, as Black Americans, we have always operated outside of the system. And I just want to say that because I believe that we're in a situation right now where we gonna have to operate within and without the system.
Mm,
Republican, Democrat, either way you want to go, it doesn't matter really. We have to operate within ourselves. I just wanted to say that. Salute to BX. I love you, my sister, my beautiful sister. Salute to ZZ. Salute to Afro. I love you, my brother. You know what I'm saying? Real talk. Like, we got to get this together. We can't play no games right now. You hear me?
mm,
So I'm going to just say that and I'm going to land my plane.
mm. That's a good point. I'm gonna say this, then we're gonna get to sliding. You had a question. We should view as foundational Black Americans. What's very important for us to do is to view this situation we're in like a chess game. All right, follow me. Every piece on a chessboard is important. Every piece on a chessboard is important. Some are, of course, more powerful than other points or pieces, but every piece is important. Um, so whether we're using the political piece or whether we're using a community piece, they're important. All right, we get stuck if we're all like, okay, we're only
Exactly.
going to focus on the knight and we're only going to be moving the knight. Well, no, sometimes you got to also focus on the bishop. You also got to focus on the pawns. You also got to focus. You got to focus on every single piece on the board. Okay, we can't be super focused on one piece and ignore the rest of the pieces. So when it comes to politics, we got to focus on politics in the government because we do live in a nation that is controlled by the government. So we got to focus on the government, but we can't hyper focus and ignore everything else. Because if we think that
Yeah.
the only piece that matters is the government piece, then we ignore all of the other very important pieces on the board. So we also got to focus on a community piece. You know what I'm saying? On what we can do outside of the government, the federal
Exactly,
legislative
my
government.
brother.
So just
Exactly.
to harp on your point, I think you made a very good point.
I add something to that.
Hold on, yeah, but hold on, because
You can drop me to rotate the panel. By
Okay,
the way,
thank you.
you could drop it to the
Thank you.
panel.
Sliding, you had a. I'm gonna let Sliding ask his question, and then we're gonna get to you, Trey. Now, come on, Sliding. It's your time for your question, brother.
Hey yo, watch this sliding
So
dude because
I was
he
trying to.
gets lives
Yeah,
taken
yeah, I was
down for
trying to.
misinformation and other things. Watch the sliding dude. Real talk, boy. I'm on you. You hear me? Like real talk, boy.
What's sliding?
I'm
But you're
on
not
you.
on me now, bro.
Okay,
I don't
I'm
know.
we
always.
ain't doing that.
On,
Hold on, hey,
no,
everybody.
bro. Chill. Relax. Have decorum, have decorum, please. Yo, so literally, I could talk to you. You're a level-headed dude. You know what I'm saying? I've been waiting 20 minutes, so you know what I'm saying? All right.
Okay.
So the first question I was trying to ask was, how detrimental do you think running this November 4th elections or like, political advertisements for either camps was during this shutdown with mass groups suffering? And then the second statement I wanted to make, if I could just get the big screen, because there's a lot of misinformation being spread that Wes Moore's grandfather, or Wes Moore's a Jamaican, when it shows he's born here and his grandfather's born in South Carolina. And I showed this to Dr. No Job in Brooklyn.
Okay.
I showed this fact. One of your mods turned off my camera. So what's going on is, even if your grandparents is born here, you're being attacked.
Okay.
And
Hold on.
We're letting.
Immigrants
that's
are
Hold
really
on.
born in the South. We got
BX.
them
I know
born
you're
in New
triggered,
Hold
but
York.
on.
West Moore is
Hold on. We're gonna get him. We're gonna address that point. I'm gonna let you address that point. But okay, so those were your two questions, right?
no BX. I don't know. She likes to bully me with, I don't know
No,
what it is, but
I'm
literally,
saying
yeah,
those were your two
yeah.
points.
I
Because
was just stopped.
because here's the thing.
Yeah, I was just
Before we
stopped.
start
I
addressing
was
your
stopped
points,
mid
I don't
sentence,
want you to
bro.
be like,
I
I
didn't
didn't
get to finish.
finish.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't get to finish. So it said, damn, I don't know. They took off my camera. Your
We
mods is
saw
taking
it.
off
We
my
saw it.
camera.
We saw it. We
But
know what it
For the
is.
simple fact
it's
that we
okay.
do not
Yes,
allow
West Moore's
Okay,
anybody
okay.
to
okay.
bring
Everybody,
Okay,
cocaine.
stop
now
with the
she's
camera
speaking that
stuff.
kind of,
Y'all
yeah.
switching up the thing. Come on. What's
Yeah,
going
yeah.
on?
You see, yeah. That's it. Yeah. Okay. I just need the big screen. Thank you.
We saw it. We don't need to see the big.
Okay,
Those,
I just wanted to read that to the people that his
okay.
grandfather was
We
born in
saw
South
what's on the
Carolina,
big screen.
chased out by the KKK, and then returned.
Okay, thank you.
And then
Before you
returned.
say that, that's okay.
I
We
don't
get
think
your
it's fair
point.
that the misinformation.
Stop.
Yeah. Thank
Sliding.
you.
We being respectful. Stop. We got your point.
So can I point
Now
something
we got
out,
to
please?
address that. Let me
Don't
address
listen
the
to the
first
dude. I
point.
know the
BX,
dude.
I'm gonna let you address the second point, but let me address the first point. It is detrimental. The government shutdown was. You've had people who were working for the federal government who are not getting paid. As our sister just expressed, that she has paychecks with $0 on it. So now you have people, even if there was, I've seen people or I've heard of people who've had to use DoorDash and Uber and all of that just to make ends meet until the government got reopened again. So even if they do get back pay, follow me, even if they do get back pay, they're now behind when it comes to certain bills. Some of these people have families, so they had to borrow money or take out from their savings or whatever the case may be. If they were saving up for a house or whatever the case may be, they had to dip into their savings until the federal funds came back on. So even though the government is reopened now, it's not as if all is fixed, because you still, even if they do get back pay, they ain't been paid for what, a month or two, if I'm not mistaken. So they still got to recover from that. So there's a lot of federal employees who are still recovering from not being paid for a very long time. So I'm not lying about it. This is something that both the Democrats and Republicans have admitted to. Federal employees have not been paid, or to a certain degree, they haven't been paid for a minute. Okay, so that's a problem. So yes, it has been detrimental, and the fact that the Democrat and Republican Party has been playing games as they've been getting paid, mind you, all of the people in Congress, they kept getting paid. They were not going without their paycheck, but they were allowing federal employees to go without their paycheck. Okay, so they can play games and stall for a vote or stall for an election. I think that's very nefarious and unscrupulous, to be very honest with you.
Hey,
Now
another
that
question. Do
answer,
you
hold
think it
on,
was nice for
sliding. Don't do that.
Elon
Don't do
Musk
No
that.
more
Don't
to
do
take
questions
away
that.
from
Steve's
you.
Stop.
jobs?
Stop. Stop. No, because you asked two questions. We're gonna answer two questions. So I answered
Right.
the first. Sliding. No, you
Hold
asked
on.
two
I'm gonna
questions.
answer
And
that
you
South
asked two.
Carolina
You
question.
landed. And we're
That
answering
statement.
that question. I
Right.
answered the first question that the government
Mm-hmm.
shutdown did have damages, and the damages are not fixed yet. Okay.
Right. I think that is very important to note that immigrants are born in the South, meaning they could have two parents from the island of Jamaica, but the Jamaicans migrated to South Carolina and had a child. That does not make him foundational just because South Carolina. And it said ties to the state, but it ain't say nothing about chattel slavery. To be
Most
a black
FBAs got
American,
European
hold on,
grandmothers. Most FBAs got
shut up. So also,
Jamaican daddies.
I
Okay, we're
land,
not
Yeah,
gonna do
I
that.
I know this guy. I
Hold
know
on,
this guy. I was
everybody,
shutting
stop.
down.
Hold on. Stop. Stop.
I
Okay.
did not listen. I'm sorry, Afro. So here's the thing: immigrants have been migrating, especially from the island of Jamaica, since the early 1900s. That does not make them foundational, right? Sliding penguin is the same as you being born in New York, so you say, but you're still Grenadian with all them flags in your bio. You got it? Marcus Garvey was here in the 1920s, sir. So saying somebody is born in the South no longer cuts it. They're not foundational until we see or we know. And Westmore has even stated that he's a proud Caribbean. And on one of their heritage months, he was making Caribbean dishes, sir.
And I was just about to address that point. The fact of the matter, let's say his father or his father's side of the family is FBA. So what? Because according to Westmore, out of his own mouth, he said he grew up with his immigrant family. And he sees himself as an immigrant. He said that repeatedly, multiple times. So his allegiance is towards immigrants, even if he does have a foundational Black American father or grandfather or whatever the case may be. Let's say his whole daddy's side of the family is FBA. If he says he was raised by his immigrant side and he sees himself as an immigrant, according to himself, on several interviews, not just one, and we're not taking it out of context. He said this on The View. He said this in separate, I think it was a city council or something like that. He said this on The Breakfast Club. If he keeps saying that, why are we even arguing that point? That's not even a point to argue. How you gonna argue for his stance of being foundational if he's saying he's an immigrant? What is that to argue? You gonna tell him he's
Can I
wrong?
add some context?
Hey, yo, real talk. You hear me? Real talk.
Mm-hmm.
If you come from BX or you come from Afro, you come for Afro Elite. I'm on you. I'm on you in ways that you will never understand. I'm not gonna speak on it. I'm trying to tell you right now. Don't come up here trying to start no BS. If you do anything to ZZ, BX, Afro Elite, I'm on you. You hear me? Like, stop playing. Stop playing. Sliding Penguin, I've been in the comments. I'm trying to tell y'all. That boy, he on some goofy type Pan-Africanism, Pan-Americanism, whatever it is. No, we standing on lineage business. Bottom line, you hear me? And I'm
Can
gonna
I
mute
go?
my
I know all about
So
that dude. I finna
real
expose
Hold
him.
quick,
on, hold on. But
yeah, we're not going we're not
hold
going to
on,
hop
hold on, hold
on.
on, hold on. Let me just address BX's point as well too, because that's a very important point that you brought up. People make it seem as if you being from the South makes you an FBA. It does not. And we gotta dispel that misinformation. All right. You have FBAs in the South and in the North, and you have immigrants in the South and in the North. Okay, so just because somebody's grandparents or something might have been born in South Carolina, Georgia, Louisiana, does not by default make them FBA. Okay, you still got to do the background of that. There's been immigrants who've been living in Virginia for a very long time, in Georgia for a very long time. Okay, so everywhere in this state there are immigrants. All right, so you can't say, "Well, no, my people are from South Carolina." Okay, Well, they still might not be foundational, even if they were.
The
And
nigga
even
name is
still,
Wakanda.
he only brought up Westmore's father's side of the family. When Westmore has confirmed several times that his mother's side of the family comes from Jamaica.
Mm-hmm.
The
Foundation.
nigga name is Watande. What are we talking about? FBA's ain't no FBA name no motherfucking Watande. That boy is not FBA. We not about to do this.
For real.
Yeah, I think his on his mother's side, Jamaican and Cuban. Like that's he was born in Maryland in PG County. And then when he was like 3, because his father died when he was young, she took him up to New York, and that's where he was raised, like his formative years. So a lot of what he does is a lot of cosplaying. And I talk about this a lot. He cosplay as if he is like from Maryland. Like he was born in PG County, but you were raised in Brooklyn or BX or Bronx or wherever. And he just comes down here and he's doing a lot of cosplaying. It I'm gonna just yield the mic because he just irritates me to no end. In addition to the cosplaying, he does nothing for our lineage, and it's not just him. Brandon Scott is the same way. Angela also Brooks, all of them. None of them are doing nothing for the lineage. So to
Oh,
be
Angela is not FBA?
said again.
You said Angela also works shit at FBA either?
I don't know if she is or is not
Which
FBA. What
Angela?
I'm saying is that they're not doing anything for the lineage. So while
That's facts.
Westmore, he did not sign legislation for a study for reparations, which I'm not upset about. I'm not upset that
Right.
he didn't sign legislation for a study for reparations, but it just already lets you know that he's not on the side of us because him and Brandon Scott will say things like, oh, like Westmore was like, I didn't sign the legislation for a study for reparations because we need to do the work. And what he
Mm-hmm.
means by that is do the work to put money into immigrant communities, these newly pushed in people into Baltimore City. And not to get too far off the topic of why I say these people are not for the lineage, Brandon Scott, the mayor of Baltimore City, he just sat here and appointed some woman to be a director of some GLB plus affairs group. But when I tweeted or commented under his tweet, well, where's the American Freedmen Affairs director and where does an American Freedman sign up? He didn't go up there and respond to that. So these people are not doing anything for the lineage, none of them. Tether, half a tether, whole tether, quarter tether, whole FBA, none of them. And I will say I do have my suspicions. I do believe that Brandon Scott himself may also be of immigrant lineage. I just can't prove it yet.
I want foundation. You got something on your
Yeah,
screen.
I was gonna, because the brother tried to come up here and lie. This is about Westmore's mother, but you kind of hit the nail on the head. Um, but what this shows us, real quick. First of all, peace and light to the panel. Thank you for having your Afro Lee. What's up, ZZ? How you doing? BX, much love. But what this shows me is that people are listening to our talking points. People are, as always, studying us, and now they trying to understand our verification. So now the new thing is, well, he's from the South. Well, they from the South too, and they immigrants. So that's the new thing now. So now it's time to upgrade our verification because that's what they're doing now. They're taking our talking point. You can put yourself on the big screen, brother. I just wanted to show that real quick. So another thing that I wanted to talk about is me. I am mad at the study, me personally, because we understand that the study is the first is the foundation for the rest of everything else in regards to reparations. The study is where you would let them know whether it's going to be lineage based or not. So him denying the study is denying reparation. Let's be clear. And that's why he wanted to do whatever he's going to do for the immigrant class. So that still is going against Americans, right? So that's my thing with him, Westmore. Another thing is we gotta understand that the Democrat class, they've been about the immigrant class. They've been, rooting for the immigrant class. They just hit it very well. They utilize trick bag words like POC, urban communities, minorities, what else, and a whole bunch of these trick words to kind of hide that they was for the immigrant class. Now they've pretty much pulled the veil, and now they're saying it with their chest. Now that's the difference. But they always have been for the immigrant class. This is why we understand the last 65 years we haven't been getting any tangibles because they've been utilizing these trick back words. And then when they saw the fact that we started waking up and saying, hold on, we see your trick back words, we see what you're doing, that's when they start flooding the gates with all these illegal immigrants in hopes to give power to these illegal immigrants so they can vote blue, I don't care who. That was the whole purpose of flooding the gates with these illegal immigrants because they understand that we was waking up and now we ask for tangibles. We ask for real tangible things. We're not going for the collard greens in the tub. We're not going for the southern accent anymore. AOC and Hillary Clinton with the southern accent all of a sudden. We're not going for the hope talk, hope and all this emotional talk. We're not going for any of that. We want tangibles. And that's why they started flooding the gate. So I just kind of wanted to add that in. I just want us, because I had someone in the comments mad at me because I said Kamala's name wrong. One thing we got to understand.
Marshall, guess what? Kamala's still breathing.
So the one thing I want to say is this is our problem now. I have no emotional ties to no party. That's the problem. We have too much emotional ties to these people in this party that don't care about us because that same Kamala was trying to take our Freeman's Bank and give it to the immigrants. Right? She didn't have no care in the world about what your ancestors built, the blood, sweat, and tear, and she was trying to give it for the immigrant. So we need to stop as a people with this emotional ties to these people. I don't care if they're Democrat, I don't care if they're Republican, I don't care if they're independent. What are the tangibles for my people? I am for my people. I have no emotional ties. This is our problem now. In the last 65 years, we have an emotional tie to these people, and they haven't given us no tangible. I don't care if you're 92%. You need to be 100% Black American. Forget the 92% on the party. Be 100% Black American. What can you do for me? We need to start making these parties stomp the yard and tap dance and start shooking and jiving for our vote. This is our problem. We got to remove the emotional ties I seen people fighting and getting ready to fight people over a party. This is crazy. So let's start moving in a way where in the world where we are not emotional to a party or have an emotional tie, and we are making them dance for our votes from now on. That's how we should move from now on, family. And I'm done. I land on that.
I will say I do agree with the sister though. I wasn't that mad about him voting against the reparations study because they ain't need no damn study for that Asian crime hate bill. They ain't need no study that when they gave thousands to them damn immigrants, they ain't need no study for et cetera, et cetera. So some people know exactly the resources, the reparations that are needed for foundational Black Americans. The study is a sham, if I'm just being honest. But with that, he did say, "Oh, well, we don't need a study. It's going to take 2 years." Oh, but we could do reparations ourselves, and then they could talk about business loans. So he was on bullshit regardless. Either way you want to look at it, he wasn't genuine about. He's not for reparations all across the board. So, but yeah, I wasn't that. The study is a sham in my opinion. They know exactly what they study it all the goddamn time. They know exactly what the fuck our community need. I don't want to hear that. Yeah. But I digress.
I'm adjusting this thing. Tim, go ahead. Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, that guy, Penguin guy, have FBA. Y'all got to block dude. I've been in several panels the last 3 days. I was finna call the Guinness Book of World Records on him because he's the first pretending tether I ever seen on TikTok. He was in this other group, Black America, I think, group. I be in there a lot. And we was talking, we asked him his lineage, and then he said he's Indian. And then next thing you know, we was like, what tribe? He said he's from the Marcy Projects tribe. And we just started laughing. Like, what the hell is this nigga talking about? And we kept going deep and deep and deep. Then he started talking about his family from Oklahoma in the 1500s, then his Oklahoma tribe. And then the other guy was debating, like, your family ain't from the Oklahoma tribe. Then we find out he's from Grenada. This man is an islander, island
he
person.
He said West Indies when he was talking. I was like, West Indies?
Yeah, but I'm saying.
I already knew that about him. But yeah.
He's a pretending tether. Mm-hmm. That's the first one I ever found on TikTok.
Wow.
And he say some real crazy stuff. And he talk crazy about FBAs. And then he want to be a pretending. And he's a tether. I just don't get it. I be in a lot of groups with him. And then I challenge him. I ask him how to cook collard greens. And then he'll lead the chat and all this and that. I don't know if y'all know. Y'all know now, but he's weird. He's a weirdo.
Oh, yeah. Oh, definitely. Most definitely. Yeah, most definitely. And thank you for giving us that heads up. Let's get
Yeah.
to we'll get to Travis, and then Trey. I think you said you wanted to add something, so we'll get to Travis real quick.
Bro, what up? What's up, ZZ? Um,
Peace.
honestly, I'm actually listening. I'm kind of sitting back listening, man. I will say this: I agree with the title. I thought that's what y'all initially was talking about, but I kind of drifted off to a bunch of other stuff.
Hmm.
Yeah, Democrats finesse the government shutdown for votes. Yeah, I mean, I agree with the title for the most part. I thought it was some craziness.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I was. I'm actually kind of interested in more in what y'all was just discussing now. So I'm kind of really kind of like sitting back listening.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, we appreciate that. I'm gonna say this: the Democrats, y'all, I, I give y'all that. Okay, if y'all did finesse for votes, cool. That's cool. But will that age well though? I'm just saying that. How will that age going into the midterms? If going into the midterms, now your constituents feel like you're either weak or you're liars, how is that going to pay out? I mean, if y'all finesse a few votes and y'all got a few seats at mayor or whatever the case is, and then let's be honest, it's not like y'all got seats in swing states. Y'all got seats in already Democrat states anyway. So y'all had a high probability of winning anyway, but y'all pulled this game just to make sure that y'all were assured that y'all were going to win, allegedly. That don't seem, I don't know if that's going to age that well going into the future. All right. Especially considering the fact that y'all didn't really get no strong candidates like that anyway. If y'all pulled this Hail Mary move and then y'all got Mandani out the deal, I don't think that's going to be a good look going into the future. I don't know, but we'll find out. Now, Trey, you said you wanted to add something.
Yeah, man. I just want to say, the Democrats, man, they are the biggest finessers. I mean, if you just really just pay attention to their tactics, man. And I've been able to persuade my family and my friends. Some of them I haven't. Like I said, I got into a huge argument with one of my best friends over the latest situation that they had here in California with the.
You're a little low, brother. I can't really hear you that well. You're a little low.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, a little better, yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'm just saying that, man. The Democrats are the biggest finessers. They are the biggest threat to the black community. It's not the Republicans, man. If you ask me, you just look at the track record, man. I mean, they allow immigrants to come over and basically they can just have everything, a path to success set up for them. But our community, their biggest base, the ones who vote for them the most and consistently been the most loyal. We don't have these same, programs in place for our community as a whole, right? Like, for example, if we have something bad on our credit or criminal record, whatever, this stays with us, right? We get immigrants, they come over here with a clean slate, right? They get programs to loans, to grants, home buying programs, just specifically for immigrants. And not only that, they're giving away our culture, just saying that we have no culture, and basically these tethers or immigrants. Well, I'm not going to say all immigrants are tethers, but the tethers, they're saying that these guys created our culture. Like, get the fuck out of here, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, just have these conversations with your family, with your friends, let them know what's going on, because we can't sit up here and just allow the Democrats keep putting us deeper and deeper into a hole as a community. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I mean, we gotta strip them from the narrative that they're the party of the people, which is the brand that they've been trying to carry themselves on, and the party that are allies, quote unquote, to the black community. And they've been very sneaky and nefarious with their tactics. If you remember when Harris did her 50 hip hop party thing, 50th anniversary for the hip hop party, or whatever. I don't know what it was called, but she had Fat Joe in them, and then she was like, hip hop, it's got African beats and Puerto Rican rhythm or something like that, and she completely omitted foundational Black Americans. And remember Mandani? I did a thing about that too. Remember Mandani, he was all like, New York is a city of immigrants, and it was built by immigrants, and it's led by immigrants, and all of that stuff. Notice how they keep saying this and invoking immigrants, giving them stolen valor, making them bigger factors in the whole picture than they ever were, and they omit us. Notice the more they keep talking, the less we keep getting mentioned. We keep getting mentioned second place. We were first getting mentioned second place. Now we're not being mentioned at all.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Afro, who
now
you
New
said
York
did
is a
that?
city of immigrants. Chicago is a city of immigrants.
Kamala.
All of every city apparently is now a city of immigrants. All of America, they're all cities of immigrants all of a sudden. Every city was built by immigrants all of a sudden. The country was built by immigrants all of a sudden. And they keep slowly but surely pushing us out the conversation, pushing us out the room. All right. And then
And
when we
then
say
even
something
within,
about the fact that we built America, they'll say that's nationalism.
Mm.
And we sound like Republic. We sound like MAGA when we invoke our history. But yet these people can invoke a history that they don't belong to. That's not theirs.
They're claiming the Harlem Renaissance now. But who you said did that with the hip hop? Who
Kamala,
left?
Kamala and Fat. I know Fat Joe was there, but Kamala did that. It was like a party for the
Like a
50th
cookout.
anniversary of hip hop or something.
At the White House.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, she did that, and she gave a speech, and she was like, hip hop, which I guess she's a expert in hip hop because she listened to Snoop Dogg and
Tupac.
50 and Tupac in college. She listened to Snoop Dogg and Tupac in college. She listened to their CDs in college. So she's an expert in that. Remember? So she was all like, "Yeah, hip hop got." She brought up Africans. She brought up Puerto Ricans, I think, and then she brought up some Hispanics, and she tied them all together, and she completely omitted us. She didn't say anything about FBA at all. We were left out the picture. You know.
I think that Tyreek may have to do a part two, the microphone check. Also because
Appreciate it.
Paramount is doing a film called Hip Hop Was Born Here, and it has the mainstream rappers. In fact, Joe is going to make an appearance. Now, I seen the trailer a few months ago. Everybody was like, "We ain't watching that," and I haven't heard anything else about it since. So I don't know when that is going to drop. But there's still elders of hip hop that are speaking, and every day we get a new video of something. Little Kim has asserted that her parents are from Virginia and her granny is from North Carolina, and they always try to say she's like Trinidadian or something like that. So
Yeah,
but they're trying to claim the Harlem Renaissance now.
yeah. What a lot of what they're doing is they're, if I could use this word, I'm gonna use it for the first time ever. Y'all might hear this. They're immigrantizing. Follow me, y'all. They're immigrantizing. It's a new word. I just made it up right now. Okay,
Organizing is crazy.
yeah, immigrantizing. Immigrantizing is a crazy. It's a new word. Why should catch on? They're immigrantizing everybody. They're trying to turn any and everybody into an immigrant. They're finding a way to say, well, that person really was from Puerto Rico. His grandfather was Puerto Rican. Well, that person really was from Jamaica. And they're trying to transform people from the lineage into immigrants. Do you understand? And even Malcolm X, whose mother wasn't FBA, but his father was, they don't even mention his father anymore. They keep saying Malcolm was from Caribbean descent. They completely write his father out the picture. So even if you have somebody who was involved in hip hop, if they got any ties to immigrant background, that's the only thing they mention. And they keep trying to place they're making everybody an immigrant. Okay? They keep doing that. They're immigrantizing everybody. And then all of the people who are not immigrants, they're just not mentioning them. Like what I think his name is Disco Mario. They're just not mentioning him at all. They just
They
don't mention anybody who
came out.
doesn't have a tie to an immigrant.
And Disco
DeSantis
Mario is
came out and
actually foundational Black American.
Yeah.
one moment. Disco Mario, they were trying to say he was Puerto Rican, and his family came out and was like, "We ain't Puerto Rican. He ain't Puerto Rican." I think they're from North Carolina,
Mm-hmm.
and they spoke against that narrative. So now they're not going to mention him because the family has spoken out.
Yeah.
I wanted to say I don't know if anybody noticed that before it was a big push to say that everybody is of immigrant lineage. A couple years back, when the rainbow flag group were a big thing, people tried to make their issues synonymous with our issues and the civil rights movement, and what they're fighting for is just the same as civil rights. It's just the same as what the blacks were fighting for. And so it's like all of these groups of people, it's like they're interchanging these groups that they tether onto us. And so when one thing is no longer as popular, so we see that that group of people right now, they're not really that popular. The pronoun politics and all of that is not really popular. Nobody's on board with that. We have a new administration that's not popping. And so they're not even really talking about these people. So now let's talk about the immigrants. What about these non-citizens? What about the illegal aliens? They're fighting for their civil rights. It's like they're taking these groups of people and just interchanging it based on what's popular for the day. That's my observation.
Now that's a
That
fact.
is what they do.
They even did that with the natives. You know, they used to bring up every time they brought up reparations, it was like, what about the natives? What about the natives? But now these damn natives is out here apologizing to black people for pushing us out and trying to invite us back in, and even exposing themselves, exposing their own genealogy, for being a European or not being of American Indian descent at all. So now they're not even using them no more. Now they going to the immigrants. Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact.
That's true. I didn't see Coach. Coach is up here. Coach, how you doing, brother?
Peace to every fully moderators. Just for context of the conversation, what's up, Cuz BX? I've traced my family ethnic lineage tree to year 1815, Pamlico County, North Carolina, USA. On my paternal side, in 1897, Gulfport County, Greensboro, North Carolina. On my maternal side, my parents met each other in the city of Philadelphia, where I'm born and raised. Generation X, 55 years old. I ain't been talking like this my whole life. 5 years ago on Clubhouse, I actually resisted the information that was being shared. I actually cussed out a lot of people, some of them in this space, till I did the research for myself. And it was a gut punch.
Mm.
It really hurt. And if it don't hurt you, it won't be real to you. I don't talk about politics to our people when I'm outside working my 10 block radius since April 2021. I tell people to trace their family tree. It's going to do two things for you: connect you to the soil, or it's not. There ain't no gray area. It is what it is. And Kenneth and Mamie Clark. Kenneth Clark was part of the legal team with the Brown v. Board education. During the Panama Canal building, a lot of Jamaicans went there to help build. And that's how they got to the country. They resided. He resided in Arkansas. Went to Columbia University, Ivy League. They did the doll test. How many seen the doll test on YouTube? That was a Caribbean Jamaican doing that. So now that we know that we delineating, y'all, delineation is our strength. We can figure it out. All the nomenclature that we want to self-identify. But delineation got them in a pickle. They didn't see this coming. Delineation plus our retroactive reinvestment repair and mass deportation is the perfect marriage right now. And Trump wants to go down as the greatest president in United States of American history. And he knows what he has to do that. Get us our retroactive reinvestment repair. Trump's a businessman. He's not a politician. However, he got 4 years experience being president naive, 4 years out. and now he's back in. And Obama, the Luau Tribe Kenyan, gave Guam repair on December 23rd, 2016. You know what Americans are doing any year, December 23rd? They in the shopping malls. They ain't paying attention to politics. And I don't care if Trump does it on December 25th, 2028, and Congress signed it into law. And for anybody that don't want our retroactive reinvestment repair, sign an opt-out form. Get it notarized, send it to the governor of your state, the mayor of your city, the congressman of your local area, the Department of Treasury, Congress, Department of the president, and you ain't got to talk about it no more.
Mm.
We know that you want it. That's why you talk against it. Nobody has taken us up on this offer to sign an opt-out form. Nobody.
Yeah.
And Juan Kim Ark never became a naturalized American citizen. You can fact check me on that. It's in the Library of Congress.gov, 1898 in San Francisco, California. The ruling is going to be overturned this summer because it was based off British colonial case law of the year 1608. It wasn't based on the Constitution. So a lot of people getting ready to get their hearts broke. And I want them to go back to the 1965 Hartzell Immigration Nationality Act and start there. But there are a lot of people getting their citizenship revoked right now. There's y'all see the bride gate fraud, the marriage fraud, and I don't do it on this app, but I've reached out to some of the people in our family tree that I know that were naive, that thought they was helping these foreigners out by, jumping the broom with them and shit.
You
And
breaking up marriages, coach? Are you
I'm
breaking up
sorry,
marriages? Are you breaking up marriages, coach?
nah, I didn't want to say that word. That's why I said what I said.
Okay.
Um, a lot of people get ready to go to prison, y'all. A lot of these politicians during the auto pen president, they were double dipping. They was working from home. A lot of people was getting federal salaries living in Kentucky, taking another job because the cost of living in Kentucky is not the same as living in the DMV or Washington D.C. And that's why they fighting it. But if an American citizen clocked in at two jobs at the same time, what do you think would happen to us? We going to prison. That's fraud. And I don't have no tears for nobody that's a traitor. I put some books in the chat. One is Our Kind of People by our ancestor Otis Graham. He was a part of the talented 10th Meritorious Manumission Traders of our lineage. And he pivoted once he figured out he was going the wrong way. Just like we pivoting right now. We ain't always been on this, but we here now. And I'm overjoyed that the Generation Z and the millennials online, because we were asking the question 5 years ago, how are we going to get to our baby boomers and our Generation X? Because I don't really mess with my generation. I'm here for the young folks. I mentor youth here in the city of Philadelphia 20 years, and that's my audience. But y'all are reaching y'all grandparents and parents. I'm meeting people outside, y'all, listening to right now. Cause I'm like, yo, where you find out about delineation? Oh, my granddaughter. I was like, bingo. Y'all gonna get us across the finish line. I don't know if y'all know that. Y'all was born. I come from the rotary phone. I come from pages and payphones. Y'all was born with this technology in y'all epigenetics. Y'all know how to operate this stuff like breathing. Y'all able to track people down that's disrespecting us. Yo, I'm here to back y'all play. I love y'all. Speak my peace.
Peace.
Salute to you, brother. Thank you very much for that. Thank you for that. We can get to everybody's final words and then we can start wrapping things up here. I think this was a really good one. This was a very informative live in case y'all might not, know about the details of the shutdown. I think this was a very informative live. Thank you all for everybody who joined in, and except Sliding. Sliding, you was the weak link of the thing.
It's always
I'm just
one.
gonna call it. I'm just gonna call it what it is. Sliding was the weak link. Okay, but besides that, everybody else was cool.
Hey, I wish the sister was still up here. I actually wanted to hear her little final thoughts.
Yeah, yeah, me
She got
too.
that.
She jumped off, but but yeah, she was very informative, and I hope
For
she
sure.
comes back.
And I
Uh,
think she was from Baltimore.
you can tell. You can tell. When she said two, I was like, oh, okay. Baltimore, y'all have a very unique accent. I
Yeah,
can
very
tell y'all from
distinct.
a mile away. Shout out to the Baltimore family, though. Okay, so we're gonna get to let's get to KO, and then we'll get KO, Trey, Travis, and then we'll do that.
Okay, can y'all hear me, family? Y'all can
Yep,
hear
we
me?
got it.
Okay, because I live in the middle of a sugarcane field, so I gotta check.
Oh,
Afro, my brother, I love you so much because you really bringing this delineation movement to the forefront. I love you, BX. I love you, ZZ. Y'all really like bringing the heat to these people. But I want to say this, man. We don't gotta argue and fight about different political ideologies. You know what I'm saying? Me personally, I subscribe to liberation theology. That's just my personal belief. I believe we can govern ourselves, and that's my whole point is I think we as black Americans, right? Foundational black Americans, we need to start like just moving within ourselves as a group. You know what I'm saying? Like our people did back then before the 1965 Immigration Act. I think we need to start doing that amongst ourselves. You know what I'm saying? Because we were stronger that way. I think this low key assimilation, I think it's an issue. I think it has really harmed us. And we know about COINTELPRO, we know about all that type of stuff. But I think we need to just start like exchanging money just amongst us. You know what I'm saying? Just do that. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna land my plane right there because I want to hear the other panelists.
all right. And that might need to be another live because I have some opinions about that and some ideas, but that might need to be a whole nother because that will take us in another direction. So that might need to be another live coming up soon. Let's get to Trey, brother. You got it.
Hey man, I just want to say shout out to all my FBA and Sulan brothers and sisters. Shout out to you, Afro. I did see you on the radio station doing your thing, man.
Yes,
Big ups
sir.
to you.
Yeah.
Spreading your wings, my guy. Shout out to ZZ. Shout out to BX. And then also, I wanted to bring up, man. Like I said, man, have these conversations with your family, man, with your family and your friends about the Democrats and what they've been doing. One key thing that they've done that's really been affecting us is this inflation, right? The inflation is a direct effect of illegal immigration. As soon as we got this influx of people coming over, across the border, I mean, we're talking about millions of people. The demand shot through the roof, and then what happened? Directly proportional, the inflation went up, right? Costs for homes skyrocketed, groceries, cars, everything that we actually do day to day is just out of control, right? So have these conversations with your family members, with your friends, and get them to understand what's going on. What the Democrats are doing that's actually impacting our daily lives. That's all I want to say.
All right. Thank you for that. Travis.
Man, nah, man. Listen, man. I appreciate y'all, man. I've been watching you a few times, man. So just shout out to y'all, man. In terms of what y'all doing, I'm also just learning a little bit about what y'all got going on too as well. But now, man, shout out to y'all, man, and what y'all got going on, brother, man. So it's all good, man.
All right. Appreciate that. Appreciate you. Okay. If y'all want to, oh boy, there's always something getting this on the thing. It's always something. Look, I'm upside down, guys.
Whoa.
I'm playing. Let me stop playing.
Hey,
Um,
real quick,
if
hey, Z, you don't remember Z?
Let me see. Let me look at your page.
what did you ask?
I just asked if she remember me.
Oh, anyway,
Did I meet you in person? My bad.
Yeah,
You do
in
look
Dallas,
familiar. Where at?
yeah, with Goddess Ayana and Erica.
Oh, okay, cool. Oh, shout out to my good sisters. That's all
Yeah,
right. Cool. It was good to speak to you again.
absolutely.
right.
That's a bless.
If y'all want to listen to the playback of this live, go to For the Culture on YouTube. Now, it's a very easy thing to do because you can go to the page ZZ is on right now, and then you can follow that page, and then in the bio, you can go to the links and all of that, so you can follow that on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, but definitely YouTube because we got some good stuff coming up on YouTube. So y'all got to make sure y'all follow that on YouTube, all right? Y'all follow us individually as well too, and y'all can do that because all of that stuff is in the description on YouTube. So go to For the Culture, all right? And thank you guys for all of the gifts. Thank you guys for all of the likes. Thank you guys for all of the speakers. Much appreciated, family. Much appreciated. ZZ, final words.
Um, Final thoughts. Yeah, neither side can be trusted. The Democrats are real shisty. I definitely think they was playing their hand in this again. They like to throw rocks and hold and hide their hands. So I wouldn't be surprised if this is a finesse. This is the way. They're the snake in the grass. They're the wolf in sheepskin. So yeah, this is the conniving ways of the Democrats. I'm not surprised. But yeah, shout out to the panel. Thank you for all the information, informative contributions made. Shout out to the chat. Peace to the panel.
Yes.
Can I go?
Go ahead.
Afro, I know you've been, doing the, radio host and stuff, but I really was over here by myself taking all the hits from the people that are mad at me. They tried to dox me by finding my 2015 also photo and saying I'm not a foundational Black American. So I blocked a couple of them and I left Slide and Penguin in here because he's a basic troll, but these other people are really conniving, undermining, and not a friend to FBA. And I stand 10 toes down on being foundational Black American. And they have a problem with that. They add nothing of value or substance to the movement because they're too busy running around worried about what we're doing instead of doing legislation for what it is they want. And I ain't with that mess. So you can check your inbox for more info on that. But I just want everybody to know I'm never scared. And that's why I move by myself. And that's why people say, BX, I like the way you move. I'm not in a clique, but I know everybody. Get it? Okay. So with that said, Afro Lee, I have to ask you, when are you coming back live on TikTok?
Tomorrow, either before my live stream or it will be a late night one because I'm going live tomorrow. So it's either going to be before that in the afternoonish time or it's going to be a late night one after my live.
Okay, I want to say thank you to everybody who loved BX. Even when they were saying ban BX from FCA spaces, people said you bugging and they supposed to be FCA.
Yeah, when did this happen?
I'ma
Oh
just say
yeah.
this. If you come for BX, I'ma come for you. Straight up. You hear me?
I
Straight like
like
that.
it. Afro, they really, really, really acting a little like they bumped their head or whatnot. And when it gets to the point of doxing, when do you get a life? When do they get a life? They have got. They're supposed to be FBA, and they dox about other FBA. I don't care how
Don't
much I
worry, BX.
tussle.
I'm on them.
1 minute,
I'm on them.
yo. I don't care how many I tussle with FBA on these panels, but I ain't never dox them. Cause people got kids at home, right? I don't have no grandbabies, but hopefully one day. People have children at home. People have lives. People have parents. So if you think that it was easy to dox me, but what happens when you get touched? Like, so treat others how you want to be treated. Leave the beef on the panels and show me what you could do politically. Show me the classification that you want, you could get it into effect. If you can't do that, if you can't help us with reparations, then you ain't saying shit. You're just a troublemaker. You're an agent. You're the agent, not us. You're the FBI, not us. You're the one they pay to sit in our panels, find out what we're doing, and disrupt the learning that we have going on. Because I only mod for FBA pages, and I've removed a lot of American Indians from my room. Because you don't get to sit around us while talking about how you don't like us and how we this and we that. And everything you put on your prompt is a remix of what we got going on. Do your own work. Anyway, Afro Foundational Black Americans, I love y'all for real. I ain't gonna let these people really affect me, but I'm gonna let them know where they messed up at. And coming from me is a wrong move when everybody else is saying we love BX. But I know when you're not in the room, nobody's asking for y'all. Nobody. So I stay in rooms where we're doing the work. You do the same and don't worry about what I got going on in my life, right? So I'm going to brag on myself for a minute. 3 degrees, made top 100 African American authors, right, for urban fiction, 2017, 2018, 2022. My degrees are with distinction. I run my own businesses. Some months I make money and some months I don't, but I still eat every night. Why? Because I got a family that loves me. And if you a nigga coming for BX, then you're gonna have to see my family, homie. You could get touched too. Stop playing with me. Stop it. We really both from New York. Stop playing with me.
BX, I'm gonna
With
talk to you
that
about
said,
that when we
Afro,
get offline. I'm gonna talk
thank
to you about
you.
that.
Because it's aggravating. I really be in my own corner doing my own thing. And I said, I don't agree with them doxing SBA women with children. And now they're digging through my pictures, talking about my old ass need to keep their name out of my mouth. Stop doxing people.
That's insane.
Y'all think that I'm never scared. I got daughters, I got nieces, I got cousins, and I got uncles, I got nephews, I got people that love me as their sister. Stop playing with me and do the work for the lineage or go find something else to do. I ain't them crackheads you used to, homie.
You got you too, BX. We
Thank
stand
you.
behind
And
you on
I'm
that for
going
sure.
with that.
Yeah, I'm definitely
I
gonna
love
talk to
y'all
you
for
about that.
real that's standing on lineage business. These people ain't got a life and they trying to thwart our work by attacking the ones that's really doing the work. Do the work. Let your work. You know why people love BX? Because I do the work. And I stand in a room by myself and say, I don't agree with y'all. I ain't signing this. I ain't doing that. We're black. By myself. While y'all all their friends and all this other stuff. And then talk about ban BX. How about you ban the agent that I call out first? Like, come on, y'all. That's why I say TikTok is recess. And the reason why Afro is here so much is because I like the seriousness he brings, the knowledge he brings about politics. We need that because there's people that come to me and say, BX, I'm frustrated. Why do the rooms turn left like that? There's some who want to learn, but this shit is recess. This is recess for a lot of them. They playing, and we're facing erasure. We're combating erasure, and these people want to play. So I don't even know if they're foundational Black American or not. That's why you're trying to discredit me, because you ain't getting shit anyway if we get it. And my lineage is verified, honey. Landmark connected, books written, case studies, people I don't even know saying the history of my ancestors because the mayor totally tried to erase them, saying New York was built by immigrants, but it was built by those enslaved in New York. They were revolting here since 1712, documented, and I bet I can find earlier than that. I got a spirit of rebellion, which means I'm a fighter. Stop playing with me. And thank you for letting me vent. There's really some unserious people here. And they're the ones that need to be banned from rooms. So I did block some people who be like, her kids are Caribbean, and she's always doing this, and she's that, and she ain't really foundational Black. Then people are getting blocked. Y'all not serious. Coming for me. And ain't nothing that y'all are saying about me that I ain't say for myself. Who put my picture on the internet but myself from 2015 when I first got signed to a publishing company? And when I got my own, I employed 8 authors, Black authors. So when you have the power to make or break somebody, you holler at me. When you got the power to make somebody's dreams come true, you talk about me. I'm always for my people, whether we're going by race and now we're going by lineage, but I'm 10 toes down. Stop coming for me and do your own work because I ain't obligated to do the work for you. But I'm obligated to block you from spaces that you're interrupting that's doing the work. I land.
Well, all right. You all have a good night.
We love you,
See that?
BX.
No job is looking for you. Tell them to look. Tell them to look for a nigga to knock his teeth out. That's what you do. A whole nigga fucking with bitches. Not that I'm really a bitch, but you know I could be a bitch. Tell him we both from New York and he know how it is. Be a man, man up and go talk to a nigga. Don't talk to me. And stop bringing news back to me or I'm going to block you too just for being messy. So that's what I got to say to Dr. No Jobs. He can find all my pictures, put them online, but when he comes to New York, come holler at me because I fight niggas too. And that's what people always say, why does BX act crazy? Because y'all be pushing my buttons. Stop playing with me. I'm really Bronx crazy. Stop playing with me. Tell Dr. No Jobs, get a life, fight a nigga, stop fucking fighting with bitches. Because that's what he's known for, bothering bitches. And when it comes to the men, he says, blah, 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 and drops, and he runs. Don't play with BX. Play with your mammy. Don't play with me. Thank you.
Well, all right. BX, I will be talking to you about that. Because all that docs and stuff, we gotta nip that in the bud immediately. So
Thank you.
I'm gonna be talking to you about that. For the rest of y'all have a good night. Thank you for joining. I appreciate y'all. And y'all make sure y'all follow so y'all don't miss the next time we go live. All right.
Peace.